Hey, what's up everybody? It's Bald Guy Ace, and before I get into this guide, it would be really great if you guys could hit that subscribe button right below the video. That way you can find out when I post my future guides, and it also really helps out my channel by getting me one step closer to hitting YouTube rank on Hypixel. So for this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to enchant your bow with all the best enchants and do it for the cheapest experience possible while still retaining one anvil use. It's optional whether or not you put Dragon Hunter on it, but the other enchants will definitely go on it, and that's Power 5, Snipe 3, Piercing 1, Aiming 5, Infinite Quiver 5, Cubism 5, Impaling 3, and Telekinesis 1. So let's go over the collections that you have to unlock in order to craft the various books for these enchantments. In order to craft Aiming, you have to unlock Feather 6. In order to craft Cubism, you unlock Pumpkin 4. In order to craft Impaling, you unlock Prismarine Shard 1. In order to craft Infinite Quiver, you unlock String 6. In order to craft Piercing, you have to unlock Cactus 6. In order to craft a Power Book, you have to unlock Bone 3. And in order to craft Snipe, you have to unlock Feather 8. It also helps to get Lapis Lazuli 5, that way you can craft Grand Experience bottles, and that will help to get you experience levels a lot faster while you're enchanting later on. Dragon Hunter doesn't actually have a collection. You get that by just buying it from the end, which I'll show you in just a little bit. And Telekinesis you get from Rusty in the Gold Mine, so that also doesn't require unlocking any collections. And so the items that you need in order to craft all these books are 219 paper, which you can get by buying sugarcane at the bazaar and then placing 3 in a row in the crafting table. 21 arrows, which you can buy from the weaponsmith NPC. 2 redstone and 8 iron ingots, which you can buy at the bazaar, and you're going to craft those into 2 compasses. 64 pumpkins, which you can buy from the farm NPC or the bazaar. 40 prismarine shards, which you can buy at the bazaar. 2 bows, which you can buy at the weaponsmith NPC. 10 cactuses, which can be bought from the bazaar. 80 bones, which can also be bought from the bazaar or the adventurer NPC. And 4 feathers, which you can get from the bazaar. As you can see, the bazaar definitely makes things a lot easier than it used to be to have to collect all these items. So now we're going to craft all of the enchantment books that we'll need to put onto our bow. In order to get the 2 compasses that are needed to craft Aiming, you're going to want to put the 2 redstone in the middle and then surround them by 8 iron ingots. Then that'll get you 2 compasses, 1, 2. So in order to craft 2 Aiming 4 books, you want to place 3 sets of 16 paper and then 2 compasses on the bottom right and 16 arrows on the top left. In order to craft 2 Cubism 4 books, you want to place 64 pumpkins on the bottom right and then 3 sets of 16 paper. So as you see, I'm actually crafting 2 of each book, and the reason for that is that the books that we craft are actually 1 level lower than what I want to actually put onto the bow. The exception to that is Piercing, which is Piercing 1, and it doesn't actually go any higher than that, and so you actually only want to craft 1 book for Piercing 1. In order to craft 2 Impaling 2 books, you want to put 40 Prismarine shards on the bottom right, and then 3 sets of 4 pieces of paper across like this. In order to craft 2 Infinite Quiver 4 books, you want to put 3 sets of 16 paper like this, and then you want to put 1 bow here because you can't put 2, so you're going to make 1 book there, and then you put the other bow up here in the bottom right, and then you can make your second book. Okay, so as I said before, you only want to make 1 book of Piercing 1. That's because you're not actually combining it with anything. And in order to make that 1 book, you just want to put 1, 2, 3 pieces of paper here, and then an arrow in the bottom right corner, and 10 cactuses in the top left. And in order to make 2 Power 4 books, you want to put 3 sets of 16 paper like this, and then you actually want 80 bones here because it's 40 bones each, but you can only put 64 at a time. So you'll make the first book, then bring up the rest of the bones, and then you can get the second book. And last but not least, in order to make 2 Snipe 2 books, you want to put 3 sets of 4 pieces of paper here. You want to put 4 feathers in the bottom right corner and 4 arrows in the top left corner. So now you have all of the mandatory books that you definitely want to put on your bow. And then optionally, you can also choose to put Dragon Hunter on your bow. So if you do want to put Dragon Hunter on your bow, you can just go to the end and buy Dragon Hunter books. If you don't have a portal to the end, you're welcome to just type in /visit Bald Guy Ace and go to my island. And then if you just go straight ahead over here, I have a portal to the end right here. You just go through it. Then you just quickly turn to your right, and right over here are the Dragon Hunter books. As you can see, Dragon Hunter is an expensive enchant. It costs 1 million just for a level 1 book. So you only really want it on your bow if you're definitely going to fight dragons. If you're not going to fight dragons with it, then it's not worth spending the money to put on Dragon Hunter. But if you are going to put it on your bow, I recommend getting either Dragon Hunter 3 or 4. I think 4 is the best value. So for the purpose of this video, I'll act as if I'm going to do Dragon Hunter 4, which would mean that I would actually want to buy 8 books of Dragon Hunter. So now I'm going to warp into the hub. When you warp into the hub, you want to turn around right here, run past the bank, and then right on the left is the librarian. So every day at the librarian, you can buy up to 10 stacks of experience bottles. And so I would recommend buying those. You probably only need 5 or 6. So if you want to save the money, you could buy 5 or 6, and then you might have to buy some more later on. All right, so after you get the experience bottles from the librarian and you're back at the start of the hub, you just want to go diagonally to the left here and run right over here. And at the blacksmith, there's an anvil right here. So now what you want to do is you want to craft each of the duplicate copies of the books together so that you can get them all increased by 1 level. So for instance, power 4 with power 4 will now become power 5. Aiming 4 with aiming 4 will become aiming 5, etc. So the key thing to enchanting and not wasting a lot of experience bottles is that you want to see how much it costs to enchant before you actually use any experience bottles to gain levels. So for instance, the first books that I want to combine are aiming 4 and aiming 4 to make aiming 5. And if I put them into the anvil, I can see that combining them will cost 6 experience levels. So now that I know that, I can get back out of the anvil and then I can click the experience bottle until I get 6 levels. I don't want to go any higher than 6 levels because I'm wasting experience levels, because it becomes exponentially harder to get levels the higher up you go. So I only want to get as many levels as I actually need at the time. So then I can take the aiming books, put them here, and then I can click the craft button, and I spent my 6 levels to get aiming 5. Now I'm back down to 0 levels, and the next book I want to do is Cubism. So I'm going to take 2 Cubism 4 books, and I'm going to put them on the anvil. I'm going to see that this costs 12 experience levels. So now I want to do the same thing. I want to get 12 levels. So that's what I'm doing each time, even though I'm not going to show you each time, is I'm going to actually look up and see what the levels are that I need. Then I'm going to go off the anvil and I'm going to go to my experience bottles and I'm going to click them until I get the exact amount that I need. So now that I hit 12, now I'm good. And I want to go and actually combine these books in the anvil. So I'm combining 2 Cubism 4 books for 12 experience levels, and that gets me Cubism 5. Next, you combine 2 Impaling 2 books to make Impaling 3 for 6 experience levels. Then you want to combine 2 Infinite Quiver 4 books to make Infinite Quiver 5, and that's 24 experience levels. Then you want to combine 2 Power 4 books to make Power 5, and that's 6 experience levels. And then you want to combine 2 Snipe 2 books to make Snipe 3, and that's 3 experience levels. And as I said before, Piercing stands on its own. There's no way to upgrade it, so you just leave Piercing 1. So if you do decide to put Dragon Hunter on your bow, what you want to do is combine all the Dragon Hunter 1 books. So first you want to combine Dragon Hunter 1 book with a Dragon Hunter 1 book, and that costs 3 experience levels. And you want to do that with however many sets you have. So since I'm trying to get Dragon Hunter 4, I have 8 Dragon Hunter books. So I have to make 4 Dragon Hunter 2 books. Now that I have 4 Dragon Hunter 2 books, I have to combine the Dragon Hunter 2 books together to make Dragon Hunter 3. And so I have 2 pairs of those. And each time I combine 2 Dragon Hunter 2 books together, it costs 10 experience levels. And I'm going to do that twice. And so then I'm left with 2 Dragon Hunter 3 books. I put the Dragon Hunter 3 books on the anvil, and I combine those for 19 experience levels to get 1 Dragon Hunter 4 book. And now we're done combining all of the individual single books, and we're ready to make the larger books to put onto the bow. Okay, so now regardless of whether you decide to put Dragon Hunter on your bow or not, the first 2 larger books that we're going to be making would be the same regardless. So either way, you're going to make these next 2 books. So first what you're going to do is put Cubism on the left, and you're going to put Aiming on the right. And that's going to cost 12 experience levels to combine those 2. By the way, it's important that you actually put the correct things that I'm saying on the left or the right, because if you flip it around or you swap it, it greatly changes the amount of experience that you're going to need towards the end when you're putting everything onto your bow, and it could be a lot more. So make sure you're doing it the way that I'm doing it in order to make sure you use the least amount of experience. So once again, we want Cubism 5 on the left and Aiming 5 on the right, and then we combine that for 12 experience levels. And then we take this book and we put this book on the right, and then we put Infinite Quiver on the left, and we combine that for 33 experience levels. So I'm going to combine the Infinite Quiver on the left with the new book that we just made on the right, and I'm doing that for 33 experience levels. And there we go. So this is the first book that is now finished. I can put this on the side for now. Then you want to combine Power 5 on the left with Snipe 3 on the right, and you want to do that for 9 experience levels. And that's actually your second book. Boom, done. So now regardless of whether or not you want to put Dragon Hunter on your bow, these 2 books here are the same. So even before we decide whether or not we're going to put Dragon Hunter on, we can already put these 2 books together. So I'm going to put the Aiming Cubism 5 and Infinite Quiver book on the left, and I'm going to put the Power 5 book and the Snipe 3 book on the right, and I'm going to combine both of those together into one larger book for 22 experience levels. So if you decide to make the bow without Dragon Hunter, then what you want to do for this third book is to put Piercing on the left and Impaling 3 on the right and combine those for 13 experience levels. And then we have our last book here. If, however, you do decide to put Dragon 4 on your bow, then what you want to do is actually put Impaling 3 on the left side and Dragon Hunter 4 on the right side and combine those two into one book for 34 experience levels. And then after you do that, you want to take the book with Dragon Hunter and Impaling on it, put that on the right side, and then you want to put Piercing 1 on the left side, and you want to combine those two for 31 experience levels. So at this point, we're both in the same spot again. Regardless of whether or not you're putting Dragon Hunter on the bow, we now have the main book with Aiming 5 and Cubism and all those other things on it, and then another book that either has Dragon Hunter on it or not Dragon Hunter. And so either way, whichever you decide to do, at this point what you want to do is put the book that has Aiming 5, Cubism, Infinite Quiver, Power, and Snipe on it. You want to put that on the right side of the anvil, and you want to put the book that has Impaling and Piercing or Dragon Hunter Impaling and Piercing on the left side. Either way, I believe it's going to be 87 experience levels, whether or not you have Dragon Hunter on it or not. And so here's where you're going to want to start using grand experience bottles. And so in order to craft grand experience bottles, what you want to do is buy lapis from the bazaar, and then you want to go over to the builder NPC, and you want to buy glass so that you can turn the glass into bottles. So you can craft bottles by just putting 3 sets of glass like this, and each time you do it, you'll craft 3 glass bottles. So in order to craft a grand experience bottle, you just put 1 glass bottle in the middle, and then you surround it by 6 lapis in a format like this, and that will get you a grand experience bottle. You're probably going to need 25 grand experience bottles if you want to not put Dragon Hunter on your bow. And if you are putting Dragon Hunter on your bow, then you'd probably need about 5 more. So you probably need a total of 30 if you are going to put Dragon Hunter on your bow. Also, by the way, make sure that when you're using your grand experience bottles, that you're not near any other people. Because if you are, they might actually steal the experience when you splash it down, and then you're wasting the bottle. So I like to come over here in the corner. What you really could do if you want to play it safe is go to your own island and do it there. That way you don't have other people walking around. But I'm just going to do it here. And so I need to get 87 experience levels. So I'm going to crash this down. As you see, I got 36 from just one time, then 47, 54, 60. It gets a little bit harder as you go up though. So that's why you want to keep your levels as low as possible. And so I just need a tiny, tiny bit more to get to 87. So I'm actually going to use a regular bottle. And there we go. So I got to 87. And so now I have that. I'm going to go back to the anvil. I'm going to put the Impaling book on the left, the book with Aiming and Cubism on the right, and I'm going to put them together into one large book for 87 experience levels. Boom, there we go. And so in my case here, in this example, I'm doing it without Dragon Hunter. But as you see, if I dissolve to it, it was also only 87 experience levels to combine the book with Dragon Hunter 4 as well. Now the only thing left to do is to combine the large book that you have with your bow. So I'm going to actually save this book, but just to show you guys how many experience levels it would cost, I'm just going to use a random bow here because it doesn't matter what bow you use, the experience levels needed will be the same. I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to put this big book here on the right. And this is the book without Dragon Hunter on it, and it will cost 90 experience levels to get a 1 anvil use bow with all of the enchants on it except for Dragon Hunter. So that's actually really good. For those of you that watched my sword video and realized my sword video actually needed less, that was because it had, I think, 3 or 4 anvil uses on it. And since then, a lot of people complained to me. They said, oh, why are you putting so many anvil uses on the sword? And so I said, okay, so that's why with this video, this is how to make it really cheap and still only get 1 anvil use on your bow. So now I'm going to dissolve over to my earlier recording where I did put Dragon Hunter on the enchanted book. And as you see here, if you put the Runaan's bow on the left and the book that has Dragon Hunter on it with all the other enchants on the right, it will cost 102 experience levels to max out the bow with Dragon Hunter 4 and all those other enchants. And you get a fully maxed out bow with only 1 anvil use. So it's pretty cool. And so after you finish enchanting your bow at the anvil, the last thing that you want to do is you want to go over to the gold mine and go to Rusty and get telekinesis. If you don't have a portal to the gold mine, you can do /visit Bald Guy Ace. You can just run straight ahead and then over here into this gold mine portal. All you then have to do is just run up the stairway over here. And Rusty is right here. You just place the bow in there just like this. I can't do it because I already put telekinesis on it, but it only costs 100 coins, really cheap, and it also does not add an anvil use to your bow. So now I'm back at my island. Let's fire this thing off a little bit. Look at this, boom, boom, boom. So guys, I hope this video really helped you out. If it did, it would be really great if you guys could leave a like and also comment down below what you liked about the video or if it helped you out. And really importantly, it would be super awesome if you guys could hit that subscribe button down below the video. Subscribing is totally free, and it also lets you know when I post future guides, so that way you can find out when I'm posting future tips and stuff about Hypixel. And it also really helps out my channel because it helps me get one step closer to 30,000 subscribers, which will get me YouTube rank on Hypixel. Well, thanks a lot for watching this video, guys, and until my next video, I'm Bald Guy Ace, reminding you to embrace the baldness.